get in the zone.
Be cozy, so I have slippers and fuzzy socks.
You know what's so funny is me and my friend were talking about Dutch Bros. And when we first moved to this city, they had a Dutch Bros. And so normally, you know, I used to drink Starbucks like every day. Started making coffee at the house, but you know, we both enjoyed like going to a coffee shop and getting coffee, you know, at like particular places. And Dutch Bros, people always hype up Dutch Bros like it's the best thing ever. And what was so funny is that we were expecting the same. We were like, oh my gosh, Dutch Bros, like this is something kind of unique. You know, it is a chain, like, you know, coffee chain, but it seems like they would have some good coffee. And so we were actually moving. Like the day we were moving to the new city, we stopped by Dutch Bros and said, hey, let's get some coffee, like, you know, give us some caffeine, put some pep in our step. It was not good. We were actually quite disappointed. And so honestly, I thought it was a fluke. We both thought it was a fluke. We were like, oh, it's probably a fluke. They're probably like really busy, had the wrong ingredients, whatever. So we're like, we'll go back. So once we got settled in, we went back again. Still not good. I think she went one more time and was like, nah, I'm done. Like, I'm done with Dutch Bros. But I was like, no, like, in my head, I'm like, if we keep giving them chances, obviously they're going to get better. I think I went maybe 3 or 4 times after that, and it was just mid coffee every single time. It was just terrible. And I think the problem that I had with it is that you couldn't taste the coffee. Like, I felt like I was drinking a cup of milk with like a little bit of coffee, and I cannot stand my coffee that way. Like, here's the thing. I will sweeten my coffee a lot. People will tell you. I will sweeten it with like sugar and, you know, creamers and stuff. But one thing I don't like is just like milk. If I wanted a glass of milk, I would just drink a glass of milk. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not good. But Dutch Bros does have really good fruity drinks. Like their slushies and their lemonades are pretty good. So that's what I go to Dutch Bros for now. And it was so funny. I went to Dutch Bros last weekend to get a lemonade. As I was waiting for my drink, I pulled up to the drive-thru and I could see in the window that they were making the coffees. And I don't know if this is standard. People who work at Dutch Bros, maybe you guys can comment, is this standard? But like she had this giant measuring cup and it was filled to the brim with milk. And I was like, she's gonna put that milk in that coffee cup. And yes, she did. And I was like, this is why this coffee tastes like milk, because I feel like Dutch Bros uses way too much milk. Like, way too much. And I'm just sitting here like, this is crazy. And the thing is, whenever I would go to Dutch Bros, I would always ask for an extra shot of coffee. I was like, give me extra coffee. Give me an extra shot of coffee. And it still didn't help. It still tasted like milk. So maybe a lot of people like it like that. I like to have some taste of coffee. Like, it needs to be robust. And to be honest, I will admit, I used to not care that deeply because my first introduction to coffee culture was Starbucks. And we all know Starbucks, they can be more on the milky side. But as I was spending time with my friends and like, they're really telling me about like true coffee, like connoisseur, like the beauty of actual like coffee beans and like the different flavor profiles and stuff. And so once I started getting into that, I was like, wait, you guys are right. Like this milky coffee, it's in it. And then I began to start drinking my coffee even darker, and I like strong, robust. And that's why I like Nespresso so much, especially the Chiaro and the Dolce double espresso. Those coffees to me are very rich, and I love that you can taste the coffee. And I add a little bit of cream, a little bit of Chobani, and it's gold. I love it so much. And so that's like my drink of choice now. And I like that it's easy, because I feel like other coffees, because when I do a French press, or even when I do like, you know, just drip coffee, to get the flavor profile I'm wanting, it does require a little bit of trial and error. I remember my friends and I, when we lived together, we would make coffee for each other sometimes. And, you know, it's hard enough making coffee for like one person. But when you're like, oh, all 3 of us want coffee. And then you have to make sure you have the appropriate ratio of water and coffee grinds. And I feel like we would always mess it up. We found like a rhythm. We were like, okay, well, here's it's like 3 scoops of coffee for, 3 cups of water, stuff like that. I think we did like 6 scoops for 3 cups, something like that. We found that out. But if one extra person wanted coffee, then the whole thing was like thrown off. So like making coffee is not as easy, I think, as people think. It takes a little bit of trial and error. Like I used to think it was just like, oh, throw some coffee grinds in there, put the water in. But you really got to measure the stuff out if you want a good cup of coffee, because your coffee can be too watery or it can be too strong. Then there's different preferences. Some people like a little watery coffee. Other people like it strong and robust. Like, that's why I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could be a barista, because it's tough out here, y'all. That's why I have mad respect for like those local coffee shops. Y'all doing the thing. And usually they have really good coffee, so I love that for them. So anyway, but today hopefully I can knock this out completely, and I should be free. That should honestly free up my schedule, so that way if anything pops up, I'll have time to do it, and then I can also maybe work ahead on any other assignments I have. I'm looking at my to-do list, and I feel like I'm pretty caught up, which I love that. I love being caught up. We're gonna go ahead and just dive into it, but like I said, I'm gonna eat first because I'm hungry, but that is the goal. I made grits for lunch. The hardest thing when going to the office is like trying to find something to cook or find something to bring to lunch. And I remember I used to spend so much money on like cold cut sandwiches and juice drinks and chips and like baggies and things you could put in your lunch and like things you could pop in the microwave. And half the time I would get to work, and by the time noon rolled around, I didn't even want what I made anyway. So I would go down to the food court and I would eat. What would I get? I would buy like soup, or I would go to Subway, or I would buy like a meal I didn't need, and then henceforth, then I'd be spending like double money, like money at the grocery store for lunch, and then I would be spending money every day at the cafe. So I get these little apple drinks from the Asian market by my house. They're really good. It's literally apple soda. It's called apple sidra. Sidra? I don't know. But it's pretty tasty. It's only Tuesday, and it's so quiet. I just moved into a smaller unit, so I downsized. And that is a separate story that I'll probably share with you guys in a different video. But I downsized to a 1-bedroom. I was in a 2-bedroom, and I love it, honestly. This space is so cozy. It's very quiet, very peaceful. And it's like exactly what I need. And I love that I'm paying for exactly what I need, because at first it wasn't that the 2nd bedroom wasn't peaceful or that the 2-bedroom wasn't great. I mean, I love that space as well, but it was a lot more than what I needed. I had a whole 2nd bathroom I didn't use. I had a whole 2nd bedroom that I thought I was going to turn into like a home office, but that didn't really happen. I do most of my work on the in the kitchen. So that didn't really work, and it was going to be a dance space as well, but then I started dancing in my living room, so go figure. So rent was kind of high, and I was like, I need to find some ways to like cut back on expenses, and so I said I need to move into like a lower unit, and the 1-bedrooms in this complex were like snatched up like that, so it's a blessing I was able to get one before they got snatched up, because right now there are no more 1-bedrooms available, which, times are tough, y'all. Like, people are trying to save money, get that rent, So I'm gonna try to finish as much as I can today. So it's only 1:25, and I have one more meeting for the rest of the day. So hopefully I can get into a good groove, and I can knock out a lot of copy for today, so that way I don't have to do it. I won't have so much to do next week, or not next week, tomorrow. That's one thing I'm really learning is to get ahead as much as you can, because if you don't, it really can it can catch up with you. Thinking about a second cup of coffee, I don't know. This is the problem when I have an espresso. I want to just drink it all at once because it's so good. So maybe a second cup of coffee, and then I want to like zone, like get in the zone, and see how much coffee I can knock out today. So that is the goal.